This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Gamefly. Coming up, it's time to solve some Portal-like puzzles in Quantum Conundrum.
We are huge fans of Portal. In fact, I believe Portal 2 was named Totally Rad Show Game of the Year.
I believe it was, and rightfully so.
First one? No, it was part of the orange box, and Alex was the only one that put it on his list that year.
What's up, suckers?
You took it out of the orange box that year.
Shoved it out of the orange box.
Anywho, it's very difficult to talk about the game we're talking about today without bringing up Portal. The game we're talking about is Quantum Conundrum, and the reason for that is because Kim Swift, the lead designer of this game, was also the lead designer of the original Portal. And of course, the game borrows a lot of the same concepts. You are, once again, a person trapped in a series of rooms, and you need to figure out how to manipulate the environment in order to get from room to room. And you've also got someone giving you humorous narration throughout. This time, you're a little boy who is visiting his crazy inventor uncle, and the uncle gets himself trapped in a weird dimension and gives the little boy one of his new inventions, which is this dimensional shifting glove, and allows him to have access to what you eventually unlock 4 different dimensions. You've got a fluffy dimension that makes things light, you've got a heavy dimension that makes things heavy, you've got a time-slowing dimension, and you've got a inverse gravity dimension. Over the course of the game. And it works very much like Portal, where you've got missions, room that is basically a puzzle.
Yeah.
Dan, no one's a bigger Portal fan than you, sir. Made the Portal movie.
Sure that's not true. But yes, I'm a fan of Portal. And whenever you compare a game to another game, I feel like none of those comparisons are as strong as this game to Portal.
Yeah.
But it's also different.
But it is. It took me a long time to get over that fact. But I thought to myself, you know, Martin Scorsese has made Mean Streets and Goodfellas and Casino and Gangs of New York.
What did he think of Portal?
And would he shoot it digitally or? So I realized, you know what? That's okay if you have a axe you need to grind, you have a bugaboo that you need to get out there, and you have your thing that you're doing.
There's also not 1,000 games like Portal.
It's true.
I mean, there's 1,000 military shooters, there's 1,000 X, Y, Z.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point. I think that's why it stands out even more, because it's not really a genre.
Right.
So it's sort of like, wow, the thing you're making is just like that thing you make. But the mechanics are similar yet different, but the structure of it is so similar, which is funny. But what I will say is, it took me a long time to have fun with this.
Really?
I enjoyed mildly the challenge of it, although I didn't find it that challenging for quite a bit. I haven't finished the game. In fact, I'm only about halfway through. I do not have the 4th power.
Reverse gravity.
So I may be putting my foot in my mouth with a couple of these things, but it took getting the slow time to have fun, and I was having a lot of fun with slow time. Excuse me, I just...
That's quite all right. I wish I had slow time.
But...
No!
But, I think the thing that this doesn't have, that Portal has, is what Portal had that games don't need to have, but it excelled in telling a story. You know, and
well, this tells a story.
It does, and that's why I may be putting my foot in my mouth. There's that amazing moment in Portal where you think you're done, but you're not, and you're like, oh my God, there's a story happening here, and it's one of the coolest stories ever told in a game, and it's happening uniquely because it's a video game. And not only that, but the conceit of Portal has much more going on. The conceit of this game really feels like it's just trying to get you to play a game. Whereas Portal kind of has its own mythology, its own world, and a unique one, and you know.
Do you think this game can stand on its own apart from Portal?
If Portal never existed, we would be like, oh my God, holy crap! I would be.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it would ever reach the heights of a Portal because it doesn't operate on those multiple levels. Not only that, but Portal is fun from the get-go. Portal is an exhilarating experience. There's moments that happen later in the Portal games where you use momentum that are not nearly matched in this game. But even just the like it's just a more visceral experience, that game, as opposed to Quantum Conundrum. I'm sorry I'm comparing it so much, but that's the game maker's
hard
fault
not to.
because it begs the comparison.
That's how I started the pitches. Like, it's
But
hard not to.
It is a fun game. It is good. It is very good. It's a great game. It's very well
And
made.
$15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think?
I had I think way more fun than Dan, but I don't disagree with Dan. I think it is much more a sort of pick. But see, the funny thing is that I'm wondering if now that we've played Portal and it's been such a part of the sort of lexicon of our culture, and also we got Portal 2, which was a much more rich, robust, and long game, that we're not remembering the first playing of Portal in the right way. Because I remember Portal was a quick sit down and sort of play in 2 sittings kind of experience that was like this game, where you kind of feel like, it's a $15 game, you know what I mean?
But I found myself, as you referenced too, not really challenged as much as Portal. There are
Definitely
rooms in
not.
Portal, and both the Portals, where I'm sitting there like, I have no idea. Oh my God, I feel like a genius.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that with this game.
Well, there
had
were
a
times. There were
Some of them
times.
were bad design things in this game. Some of them I had to go to the
Well, this one-
hints, the walkthrough, and I went, oh, I'm in the wrong place. I went
Yeah.
backwards instead of which
I
was
did that
led
once.
down
I did
the
that
wrong-
once. I went
It's been an
forward and I
hour.
was like, yeah, I'm sitting in this room. I was like, well, how can I even possibly get there? And then all of a sudden it's like, I would look at the walkthrough and it's like, as soon as he gets in the door, he turns left and there's another door
Yes.
there. And I was like, oh, I never even saw that hallway. I went straight forward and turned.
And
into
don't
the
you
back
think that
wall.
also with Portal, there's like this creativity that you don't have? There seems to be like one solution to most of the stuff in this game. It's just how it felt, but maybe not.
You know what? You're probably right about that. I mean, it really did get. It is fun. It is very fun, and it is challenging enough. You know what I mean? It's definitely lower on the challenge scale than a Portal. It's way more platformy than Portal was.
Way more
I mean, when you're throwing something, slowing it, and then having to jump on it, and then there was the one with all the different things going like this, and you have to like jump
my
and wait,
God.
and then
So
jump and
much
wait, and then
platforming.
jump. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I was dying not because I didn't know the puzzle, but because I just couldn't. I just didn't articulate correctly. But I really love it. And is it the guy who played Q from
John.
Oh my God, John something. right?
Something.
Yeah. So freaking great. Love
the guy
that.
played Q.
The guy who
Star
played Q
Trek
in Star
Next
Trek
Generation.
Next
You wouldn't
Generation. It's all good.
I
It's all
was
good.
like, he's
But he's awesome.
it's like the hologram of voices.
Yeah, it was Tupac, right? That was doing the voiceover. Just strung together, editing. Anyway, but it was really fun, and I love the wrapping around it. I love the style of the game is really great. I love the comedy of just walking through the thing and seeing the like Ike and his guy and the paintings and talking about traveling through time. I mean, all that stuff was just so great. If the challenge had been a little higher and there'd been a little bit more puzzly, how did you figure out how to do it? There were a couple moments where I did do that. The one with the 2 tables that fall, and you have to slow them and then speed slow to get to the next one.
Yeah,
I was
there's
like,
a lot
that's
of that, like,
cool. Yeah, I was like, that
Yeah,
stuff's fun.
Yeah, I started having a lot more fun with the slow time and playing catch with yourself.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Things like that
Yeah.
were a lot of fun. But
I like that
you're not-
alley-oop one where he's like, I also majored in basketball, and you have to like alley-oop yourself.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So there's a lot of fun to be had. $15, it's definitely worth a try, especially if you're a fan of Portal. Why not? Because you're not going to get another Portal experience for a while, if ever.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned we all played it on Steam. It's a timed Steam exclusive, but it's also going to be on XBLA and PSN. I agree. For $15, it's a really fun experience, and it is clever enough and fun enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand up to the comparison to Portal because that game is so polished, and this just isn't quite.
There were a couple times when things were supposed to spit things out, and nothing came out of the guy.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah, and
have
I was
that
like,
experience.
I had to reload a level because he was like, it would go bleh in
Yeah.
slow motion. I was like, but where's the thing I'm supposed to get?
Yeah, I had a good time too. I'm bummed that it was so platformy.
Yeah.
Because that in first person just isn't quite as fun for me, and doing something 4 times because I just didn't go all the way to the end of the ledge before I leapt, and I just came up short and fell to my doom. I mean, the fact that the game has stats at the end of each level, and one of the stats is managed to do it without dying, should tell you something because you're
funny.
likely to die. And the reason you die most of the time is these weird platforming moments where you're falling to your death. That just is less fun to me than the creativity of a Portal, where it's like I can put this anywhere. And these, it seemed like, yeah, they're interesting puzzles, and they're very well, and the complexity ramps up, yes, but
definitely.
it seems to be like, oh, there's a puzzle with one solution, and it's just figuring out that solution, and most of the time I was able to sort of breeze through. Whereas in Portal, you have these like YouTube videos of these guys doing completely insane things, and I just don't think the game has that kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
But still very fun and easy to recommend, especially at the low price point. And it's got a lot of quirky personality. I like the art style. It's got that sort of cartoony looking Toontown aesthetic that's really fun. So yeah, I mean, it's not a successor to Portal, but it's certainly a great experience that's really fun. And if that comparison wasn't there, I think we would all be even more enthusiastic.
Yeah, if Portal had never existed, my mind would be frickin' fried.
Yeah. And
Totally.
it's cool. I mean, there's some really fun things that happen. So yeah,
Definitely.
that's our conundrum.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, Jeff.
GameFly, the largest online video game rental service in the world.
That's echoing because it's so much more of the bigness.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about video games. We're talking about you being able to play them. We're talking about not having to pay full price every single time you want to pay or play a game. You have to pay to play usually. Now you can subscribe, and then you can play as many as you can possibly cram into a month. $15.95 is the starting price for a month, and then you can make a list of games. They'll send you the next one on your list.
Do you have to check it twice?
You're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to check it as many times as you'd like. Too soon. It's summer, sir. It's
I
summer.
know. I felt it.
You can play as many as you want. You don't have to. There's no late fee. You don't have to pay to send it back and forth.
Perfect.
Super easy. Super cool. When you're done, you just send it right back. They send you the next one on your list. It's
Bam.
great. And you can also play PC games. Hundreds of them for free with the unlimited PC play.
Wow.
That's pretty great. Why not try it for free? We're gonna hook you up with a 15-day free trial. Go to gamefly.com/TTRS and get your game on.
TTRS.
Get your game on. Why aren't you gaming?
I don't know.
It is time.
It's time to game.
On.
Join us tomorrow for the return of Rad Rebus.
Today's Twitter question sent in with the hashtag TRSQ was sent to us by Alex Hunt, who is Super Alex Man. He must have been bitten by a radioactive Alex.
Yeah, I bit him when I was after that tragic car crash that I was involved in.
The radioactive tubes came out.
Yep.
He asks, if Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter, what secret lives do you think other presidents had?
I think Bill Clinton was an adulterer.
Too soon.
What? I think
Too official.
George Washington, vampire sympathizer?
I like that. He's like, well, I'm George Washington. What do you need?
William Henry Harrison, Frankenstein's assistant?
Wait, who?
He died in 30 days.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. Yeah, Taft. Taffy maker. That's how Taffy got its name. Taft.
Dan, you have one? You got one?
I had one.
Oh, it's sad, Dan.
That's clearly the right answer. In fact, it's the only right answer anyone said today.
That's awesome. Thank you, @SuperAlexMan. I want your tag.